Good morning, all.
Morning.
So, this is the. There's only two more after today. My goodness. So we're getting to the end of this season of workshops. Yeah. So thanks for the intro, Tony. So so Alan and I are going to be doing this together. This is a little bit different to the ones we've done before. There's a little bit of chat and slides, but mostly we're going to help you set up your phone. The idea is that at the end of today, you should be able to use the cloud storage to save your photographs. And then after the break, we're going to be talking about using FindMyPhone. So if you drop it behind the sofa, you can't remember where it is, or cats run off with it, you can find it in your home. Or if it's been taken, you can find it, or turn it off, or lock it, or whatever. So we have two sessions. Let's kick off with using cloud for photos. So the topics we're going to cover: what is cloud storage, the options you have for cloud, and how much it could cost you to use that. How you can back up your phone. If you've got a cloud service, you can back up your phone, and why it's important to do that. And then it's kind of the meat of today's topic: saving photos and videos to the cloud, and then retrieving photos and videos from the cloud. So, cloud storage. So, cloud's a funny word. What is cloud storage? So, it's just short-term term. It doesn't have any meaning at all. It's not even a marketing term. It's the way engineers draw the internet. So when we talk about the internet, and you're connected to the internet at home via Wi-Fi, or on your phone via 4G or 5G, you're connected to this big global network, which is a very complicated beast. It's incredibly complicated. And there are many, many companies between you and the endpoint you're going to. So when you do online shopping, you go to Tesco.com or JohnLewis.com, you don't directly connect to John Lewis. You go through a number of steps before you get there. And it's extremely complicated. And so we're not really interested in the complexities of that. We just want to know, how is that transaction going to work? I want to buy something, I'm going to pay for it, and then I'm going to get the goods I want. And so what we do, we kind of just draw this fluffy cloud. We say, well, I'm connected to the internet, so's the other guy, and something in here is going to make it work. Cloud's just a fluffy term that engineers have been using for about 40 years now to describe that. So this picture, this is your phone or your tablet, you're connected via 4G. This is your PC at home, connected via Wi-Fi. These are businesses, offices connected to the Wi-Fi, and these are the service providers. This could be JohnLewis.com, who are also connected to the internet. And if you're a user over here buying something, this is a bank, you're doing online banking, this is your connection via the cloud. The other kind of devices that connect to the cloud are interesting. When you go pay at a store, and someone has one of these card readers, and you put the card on this tiny little fag pack size thing, and you pay with the card, that does a financial transaction. That doesn't do anything. The actual device hardly does anything at all. It sends your card details to a payment provider, who's another one of these businesses, that does the transaction, and the merchant gets their money and they get their commission. So all of these transactions happen via the internet. That's what we mean by cloud. So one of the services that you can buy via the cloud is storage. And so when we talk about cloud storage, one of those providers is providing you some space to put your photos or your videos.
I think the term cloud confuses us a bit, because we think of clouds being in the sky, we look up. Actually, all of the servers are in the ground. I don't mean underground, but in buildings, huge warehouses, and basically they are computers with huge amounts of storage. And so when we talk about the cloud, it really is the ground, but we are using other providers' storage facilities. And that means we don't have to fill the storage on our telephone completely. We can, Salim has said, outsource the way we store things to these servers. And they're all around the world. There are lots in the UK, there are lots in the US. They take up a huge amount of power, and they need cooling with a lot of water. So
yeah, they're not terribly green. And also the other thing about it, you don't actually necessarily need to know where the service is. When you connect to your cloud, you don't know whether that server is in a building in London, in the UK, in Europe, in America, could be anywhere. It makes no difference. The service is the same regardless. And so in terms of these providers, there's lots of them actually. I just picked out the four popular or common ones you'd like to come across. And so these are the providers, the companies you probably use. So if you've got an Android phone, you'll have access to a Google cloud. If you've got an Apple phone, you'll have access to Apple's iCloud. If you have a Microsoft PC, you have access to Microsoft OneDrive. And there are other companies, there are many of them. Dropbox is a popular one, that provide just cloud services. So there's a whole bunch of them. I'm going to just really concentrate on the ones that really link to the phone. So if you've got an Android phone, you're most likely going to use that. An Apple phone, you use that. The thing about all of these people, they don't provide this for free. And they're making money out of this. But they do provide some free capacity. So get you going. When you get your phone, you buy a brand new phone, get it home, put your account details in and set it up, you'll have some storage, which means at least you'll be able to back up the important things on your phone. But it won't get you very far. So most phones these days have some amount of storage on there, which is where your photos go. And depending on your phone model, you'll have a chunk of storage. Modern phones tend to have about 128 gigabytes. Older phones or smaller phones might have half that. Very expensive phones have double that, 256. So you've got quite a lot of space for photos. So this isn't very much, but they give you some for free. And then you can move on up, and you can see the costs here. Interestingly, Apple only quote a subscription price. Their business model is around subscription. They like you to sign up, because once you sign up for a monthly service, you're very unlikely to stop it, right? Most people don't think about stopping a monthly charge. So they only do a subscription model. Most of the other vendors have a choice of paying monthly or paying annually, and it's a little bit cheaper if you pay annually. So you pay basically 10 months worth if you pay annually. You pay a bit more if you pay monthly. So you just see, as you go up in cost, you get more space. Now that space is shared. It's not just for photos and videos. It's also where your emails go. It's also where your files go. It's also where your backup goes. So it's a bunch of stuff. So you can just see. You can take it. We can share this afterwards, but you can just see how much it costs. It doesn't cost very much actually. I have this service. I pay for 100 gig on my phone, and I don't take that many photos, but that's plenty for me. I also happen to have this as well. My wife and I have that, so we've also got lots of storage on our PC. So does anyone already have cloud? Who's already got a subscription to cloud? Okay, and is that iCloud for most of you guys? Yeah. Anyone got a subscription to Google Drive? One? Just the one? Android. Android, yeah. So you have, yeah. So you guys have got this one of these, and the iCloud would be one of these. And Apple have got a slightly too small option and a slightly too big option, I think, but that's the way they've chosen to price it.
If I have Google Drive, does it mean it's the same thing?
Yeah, Google Drive. So Google Drive is the Android version of iCloud.
Oh.
Yeah.
So when I store it on the phone, where does it go? Oh, I store it on...
So you have storage on your phone, which is built into your phone,
yeah.
and then you can add additional storage in the cloud. That's the idea of the
But it doesn't say cloud, just put it on Drive.
Yeah, Google call it Drive, Apple call it cloud. So cloud has become a kind of marketing term in Apple world.
I see. So if I just want more, I start paying...
Correct.
That's all, but I've got it.
Yeah, and if you've already got that, you may find... And you've got to turn... And you've got to... We'll talk about that next. You've actually got to turn on the feature to start using it. It doesn't use it by default, so you can choose whether you use that space or not. We'll talk about that next.
And you can have multiple. So I've got an iPhone. It automatically comes with iCloud. I pay extra for more storage because I've got loads of photos. But I've also got a Gmail account and use other Google services like Google Search and Google Drive and Google Docs. So with my iPhone, I can access both. So it's not either or. If you want, you can have both. And the Google Drive is actually very good value. It's only about...
Yeah, I've got it stored on my account. Just it comes free.
There is a free, but it's quite small.
Yeah.
And then once you exceed that, it will tell you, and you pay £1.59 a month, which takes you from the free 15 gigabytes up to 100 gigabytes.
Yeah.
And I think that's very good value, actually.
Yeah.
So in the club on Tuesdays, I recommend everyone who's running low to do Google Drive.
Yeah,
it's very good value.
How can you see if you're running low?
Okay, you go in. Well, do you want to do that later? Or?
Yeah, we'll get to that. We're going to do a hands-on thing. We might
Can
connect.
you say something to the two speakers?
Yeah.
Because of hearing and the room and things, could you repeat the question before you answer?
Yeah. Okay, so the question was, how can you find out on your phone how much storage you have and what you are using, and we'll show you how to do that. So you go into settings and we'll come along and show you, depending on whether if it's an
Storage,
Apple,
yeah.
I'll show you. If it's an Android, Salim will do it.
Are there any things that are not obvious that are not saved in the storage?
Are there any things that are not saved in storage? The answer is it depends on your settings. So, for example, one of the things not mentioned on Salim's list is Amazon. If any of you are Amazon Prime members, then you can get Amazon Photos, which will store all of your photos in full size for free, or as part of your Prime membership. But it will only do limited videos, and then it will want to charge you more to do videos. So the answer is not everything stores automatically, and videos take up a lot more room than photos, so sometimes you have to pay more for that.
And one thing that's just come out from Alan's discussion there is that these cloud providers are providing more than just storage, they're providing other services. So Google provides Google Docs, and if you create Google documents, they are stored in Google Drive. Apple provides storage on their iCloud, but they also use that for their iMail. So that's also used for their mail and for backing up. Microsoft sell their Drive as part of the package of 365. So that gives you access to all the Microsoft Office suite of products. And Dropbox really are just a storage vendor. So, some of these products come with more than just storage. Interestingly, Microsoft at their first paid tier actually give you quite nicely separate out 100 gig for email and 100 gig for storage. So if you've got lots of attachments in your email, that can take up a lot of space. You might not be aware that you're using up the space, not because of photos, it may be other things. People are sending you WhatsApp videos and other stuff can eat into your storage capacity. So we'll look at that. That question came up, how do you know how much you're using? We'll talk about that. So one quick thing, if you've got storage external to your phone, a nice thing to be able to do is to back up your phone. So ordinarily, all your stuff, your files, your text, your messages, your contact list, all your friends' names and numbers, and your photos are all stored on your phone. And there are two problems with that. One is that you'll eventually fill the phone up and there won't be any more space for things. But also, if you lose your phone or the phone breaks, you potentially lose all that information. So if you back it up, you are able to restore it from the cloud. And that also happens when you get a new phone. When your phone eventually comes to, it's too old, you want to get a new phone. If all your stuff is stored, when you get the new phone, you're able to just connect it to the cloud and bring all that information back over. So you don't lose any of your messages and texts and so on. So yeah, if your phone is lost or broken, you need to worry about that. A backup is the way you can protect that data.
That's absolutely right, except for one thing, which is WhatsApp doesn't back up automatically. So when you change phones or you want to restore your data, it's a very good idea to back up your WhatsApp separately in addition to the iCloud storage. For some reason, WhatsApp asks you to do a separate backup.
Yeah.
The rest of them, your whole phone can back up automatically.
Can you back up the WhatsApp into either of these
Yes,
systems?
into the cloud. So that's a good point. So WhatsApp by default doesn't back up as part of the phone backup, and historically that goes back to the fact that they were a secure end-to-end service and they didn't want their data in anyone else's place. They now allow you to do backups. But yeah, when you do the backup, it goes into your cloud storage. If you're on Google, it goes into Google Drive. If you're on Apple, it goes into iCloud. Desmond?
Yeah. Can I just point out there's a potential confusion in the word messages? You don't actually have to back up your email because your email is on the server.
Yes.
So if people have been reading messages as email.
Yes. And that's why I didn't put emails in. That's a good point. So if you have an email service like Gmail or iMail or Hotmail, Outlook nowadays, they are already in the cloud. Those are cloud-based email services, so they will always be saved. And that's why you notice that there is a free tier. When you have a service from Google, Apple, or Microsoft, they always give you a little bit of free storage, and that's where your emails go. And if you fill that up, then you need to buy some more storage. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. So, what we're mostly interested in here. So who takes a lot of photos here? 'Cause I don't, I'm just curious. I know Tony does, Alan does. Anyone else? Yeah? A few of you? And I know, I don't take a lot of photos, but people send me photos. I get WhatsApp messages with photos and videos and stuff. Some people love sending pictures by WhatsApp. So they can also fill up your phone, and you can choose whether you save those or not. So photos and videos take up a lot of space. You know, emails and text messages and stuff like that really don't, but photos and videos do. So if you are a keen photographer, you can fill up your phone very quickly. So that's why we want to save them to the cloud. Release some of the space on the phone and save them somewhere safe.
So, I've got a SIM card in mine,
Mm-hmm.
which stores all my photos. I don't know what it is, but maybe it's not called
So you
SIM.
might have a memory card in your phone. Yes. Yeah. So that's a good point actually. So phones give you lots of different choices how you store things. So there's some storage on the phone. Then some phones give you the option of adding a memory card, so you can add some additional memory. But it's still in the phone. If that phone gets lost, it's still going to get lost, right? And then cloud allows you to store things away from the phone, an external storage. And that's really the beauty of it. Because it's external, whatever happens to the phone, that data is still protected in the cloud. And that's really the benefit of cloud. So the storage on a memory chip in the phone, and a lot of modern phones actually don't give you that option anymore. It's pretty much gone away these days.
iPhones don't at all.
Yeah, iPhones.
It's only Android that you were able to put in that extra little chip.
Yeah, but most modern Android phones don't even give you that. And I think pretty much everyone now uses cloud as their additional storage space. Good question.
Interestingly, if we run out of electricity, it will still be on your chip in your phone, and you won't have access to the cloud.
Yeah. If you lose Wi-Fi, then you've got lost the connection to the cloud.
Yeah.
That's the downside of the cloud, right? So, actually, one interesting thing. So, when you have a cloud service and you are saving things to the cloud, it only saves them when you have Wi-Fi connection. It usually doesn't use 4G or 5G because it will use up a lot of your data plan. So, if you take a photograph, you're outside, you take a photograph. When you come home and you're back on your Wi-Fi, then it will save it to the cloud. That's usually what happens.
On Apple, you've actually got the choice,
Yeah.
and it says, would you like to use your data to upload? And you can say, no, I want to wait until I have a Wi-Fi connection. Or, if it's important, then you can use your data to do your backup.
So the recommendation is not to. We will eat up a lot of your data with data limit. Yeah, sorry, got a question?
I'm not very good at this, but what about a memory stick? Can you put photos on a memory stick and store them?
So you can. So right. So there's.
Repeat the question.
Yeah. So the question is, can you store your photos on a memory stick? So you've been on these USB sticks that you plug into a PC. So you can plug memory sticks into a phone. There are adapters that allow you to plug them into a phone. Most people use memory sticks with a laptop or a home computer rather than a phone. The problem is I actually don't like memory sticks at all. You end up with a drawer full of these things, and you never remember which one has got what things on it, and they're quite difficult to manage. Is the problem with memory sticks. So yes, you can be done. It's not a very common way of doing things. Is my feeling.
Can you just Bluetooth your photograph to your PC, then put it onto the mic, the memory stick?
So using Bluetooth. So yeah, you could transfer your photos.
Repeat the question.
Yeah. So the idea is, can you use Bluetooth to transfer the photos from your phone to your PC, and then use a memory stick on your PC? You can do. So you could get your photos from your phone to your PC. Is that something people are interested in doing? We're not talking about that actually. That's a good question in itself. Do people transfer pictures from their phone to the PC? Yeah, I know if you do. I know you do. You've been talking about doing that.
I find it quite hard to do, so I don't.
Right. So it depends. How easy it is to do depends. So if you store them in the cloud on your phone, you can go to the cloud service on your PC and download them from there. So you don't need to connect your phone to the PC at all. The cloud service acts as the intermediate step to allow you to transfer them from the phone to the cloud and from the cloud to the PC.
And if you've got an Apple iPhone and you've got an Apple desktop, laptop or iPad, then you can set it to sync automatically. So as soon as you take the picture on your phone, it is available on all the other devices. So you don't need to Bluetooth at all. So what you would typically use your Bluetooth for is to transfer to another person's phone. Does that answer your question?
Well, mine with a SanDisk, it's called.
Yes.
and
So that's a
that
storage
does
disk.
it automatically. It automatically appears on my computer.
No,
No.
a SanDisk is physical storage on a chip that is plugged into your phone.
Yeah, okay.
It won't automatically be anywhere else. It is on the chip on your
Yeah.
phone.
But the photos all appear on my computer.
You've probably set
So
your
that's-
phone up
Have I?
so that it transfers with Wi-Fi or with the data that
Right.
so that it transfers automatically when
Right.
you've got a signal.
Yes.
I didn't
That's
know.
not your SanDisk that's doing that.
That's the cloud. That's the cloud storage that you're using
Oh,
effectively
okay.
for that.
I didn't know how.
Yeah.
Magic.
It's
You're
hap- it's
already ahead
happening
of us. You've already set it up.
It's happening automatically. That's excellent.
Yeah, it does.
But does a memory stick act as a backup? Joel, you would say to the client.
So a memory stick, or the question is, does a memory stick act as a backup? So by backup, what we mean is copying the data on a device to somewhere else, not on the device. So
Rather
the
than
device.
relying on the cloud.
Well, so backup actually doesn't care where the backup is. It just the important thing about a backup is that that data is copied off to something else. If it's on the same device, if that device breaks, you've lost the original and the copy. The idea is that the copy must be on something else, right, to make it safe. And so that something else could be a USB stick, or it could be the cloud. It could be a computer. You could copy it to a computer. So you have to decide what's the most convenient thing for you. So if you're storing some family photos or whatever, you might want to create an album on your computer, just put them in there. That's fine. But if you put them in the cloud, you don't have to think about how you're going to organize them. The nice thing about the cloud backup software is, because there's some software doing this, it organizes your phone folders and messages and texts and everything correctly, so that when you come to restore it, everything goes back into the right place. If you don't use the backup software and just copy things yourself, you're then responsible for making sure that the data is organized correctly and filed correctly to restore. So you can use a memory stick, but it's a lot harder than using the cloud.
Just to say this, having physical copies.
Yeah, some people like physical copies, yeah. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with having a physical copy. I mean, I do have a backup disk on my home computer, so I do back up my home computer both to the cloud and to a physical disk. But, and just like Alan, I have multiple cloud services, and I have them all on all my devices. So I can see all my folders on my PC, on my phone, wherever I am. I can see all my phone stuff on my PC from home.
Desmond.
So a keen photographer is obviously very concerned about the resolution of their photos, and sometimes the backup options are not at full resolution, which it's a subtle
Yes.
detail you might
That's a
miss.
good question, yeah. So in fact, that you can choose the resolution in the cloud. So now we're going to talk about using the cloud specifically for photos. So I've got a set of slides for iPhone, and Alan will go through and talk about the iPhone thing if you want to go in detail. The idea is we'll talk for another 10 minutes or so, and then before the break, we'll actually set up our phones. So at the end of this, hopefully, all of you who want to use cloud will have your cloud settings arranged so you can actually back up your photos. So on an iPhone, it's called iCloud. You select iCloud, turn it on, and to Desmond's point, you can choose whether in the cloud you want to choose save full resolution pictures, which take up more space. You may end up paying more if you've got thousands of photographs like Tony, or if you're happy with just little thumbnails, which are not going to be full resolution, but are good enough to see on your phone. So it depends what you do with your photos. I look at my photos on the phone primarily. I know some people print them out and put them on the wall. And if you want to print them out, you do definitely want the full resolution ones. So yeah, you have a choice around that.
Just to say that WhatsApp, and most people these days are sending photos on WhatsApp, it compresses the full resolution, that picture that you've taken on your phone, and sends a much smaller version. So when somebody receives a photo on WhatsApp, it will never be full resolution. So if you want to share a full resolution photo to somebody else, then either Dropbox or an email attachment will give you the full resolution. But interestingly, a lot of services where you have to give a photo want a small one, and I've helped a few people in the club on a Tuesday to say, how do I reduce the size of the image? And using WhatsApp is a very quick and easy way to do that.
Good point. Yeah.
Send it to yourself on WhatsApp.
Yeah, and then you'll get what's often called a thumbnail, a little version of the original photograph.
So when I send photos from my phone to email, it says, do you want to reduce it or not?
Yes,
I do actually reduce it, because if I don't, it comes up enormous in the email.
yes.
Can I go back to get the good one again?
You've always got the original on your phone that you took. When you send it as an attachment, it does say, do you want large, medium, small, or full size? And it usually also tells you how many gigabits it will use. And yes, the original stays on your phone. You are sending a smaller one. That's the sort of thing that WhatsApp does automatically. It reduces the size without you even knowing it.
But you can't make the WhatsApp ones received bigger.
No,
Correct.
WhatsApp doesn't allow you to do that. And when you're talking about email, one of the things why they give you that choice is that email receivers may have a limit on how much data they can receive. A lot of companies set limits because otherwise they're going to be flooded with lots of pictures and stuff. So you can't send a lot of pictures in one go oftentimes. So then you can send smaller versions to overcome that limit on size of attachments on email. The other way you can share pictures using the cloud, which is really cool, is that if all your pictures are in the cloud already, you can send someone a link to that. So it's just like me sending you, instead of sending you an article in the newspaper and sending you a copy of the article in the Guardian, I can send you a link to that article in the Guardian, right? And you can then open that link on your computer and read the article. In the same way, you can send a link to your photo in your cloud, and someone can open that link and see your pictures in full resolution. And all they can see is the photos you share. They can't see the rest of your album or any other of your files. So it's a very safe, secure, easy way of sending very large photos or sharing very large photos without actually sending the photo. You just send them a link to it.
Sorry, if somebody, you were saying about the WhatsApp pictures are always in not full resolution. If somebody sent you something on WhatsApp, a picture that you want to actually have printed out somewhere, like at one of these machines, is that then possible or not?
Yeah.
The question is, WhatsApp automatically reduces file size. If somebody sends you a photo, you really like it, you want to print a large copy, can you do it from WhatsApp? The answer is no. What you do is ask the person to send it again using email and to do full size. Then you will get the original and then you can print it out. But as Salim says, it all depends what you're doing with the photo. If you are happy to look at it on your computer, your phone, your iPad, it's fine in the WhatsApp version. If you do want to print it, and you want a nice copy, particularly if it's a large one, 10 by 12, it's a family photo you want to keep, ask for the full resolution.
Yeah, when you originally said that WhatsApp doesn't give you full resolution, and you said alternative was email, but you said there was another alternative. I've forgotten what you said.
Dropbox?
Yes,
Dropbox, yeah, thank you.
What if you've got an Android phone?
On Android. So we're going to come to Android. So it's the same process, just a different cloud.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So that's the next slide, essentially.
Can I just ask, what causes the, every now and again, I'm sure it's not it, I get photos of a little album that just pops up on my phone, memories from 7 years ago, or,
Okay. Yes.
wherever. Where does that come from?
Okay.
Yeah.
So the question is, every now and again I get a pop-up on my phone which just says memories of such and such a year. Where do those come from? The answer is it's artificial intelligence that's taking what you have backed up to the cloud and giving you a taste of what you can see. And have you got an iPhone?
So that's proof that it is backing up to the cloud.
Correct.
Oh, it's definitely backed up to the cloud.
And
It's an Android. Well, the chances are it's Google Photos saying, here are memories of this event. Often, when it's today, it will say, this day so many years ago,
yes,
this is what you did. So what Google is doing is looking at the images that you've backed up into the cloud. It knows what today's date is. It knows where you were 7 years ago. And it will say, on this day 7 years ago, here are pictures of what you've done.
Is that a social media thing?
No, because it's only to you. You can then choose to share it with other people. It's not
Yes,
social
yes,
media.
you
It's your iCloud backup or your cloud backup. It's just
I usually get these pop-ups in Facebook to see
Okay.
memories.
right. So the question is this social media? My answer was no. It's just personal to you. But if you are on Facebook and you're seeing lots of other photos, that is social media. And I think that must be a different talk altogether.
Yeah, that's
So
a different
we are doing private storage, which, if you like, you can share with people, rather than social media, which is giving it to the world. The nice thing about your memories that you've had is you can then send it to other people and you can share your memories that way. Brigitte.
How do you get the photo down from the iCloud? I don't understand.
Sorry, say again. Oh, did you hear me?
How do you retrieve photos from
How do you
iCloud?
find
How do you find them? So that's the next topic. So we're talking right now, the first part is getting them from your phone into the cloud. And then and we're talking about iPhone now, we'll talk about Android next. And then once they're in the cloud, the next step is how do you find them? How do you get them back off the cloud? How do you share them? So we'll get to that in a few minutes. So we've covered iPhone. The next one is Android. So for those of you who've got Android, very similar process. You go into the settings. You need to be signed in with your Google account. So hopefully all of you here have got your Apple ID and password and your Google account and password. You turn back up on, and then you can again choose, as Desmond said, you can choose where you will save them as original quality, full resolution, or if you want to save some space in your storage, and then you can say, well, I don't want to use up all of my storage. I'll share little versions of the pictures. So very similar.
I've noticed that some people are taking pictures of the screen. Can we share the presentation?
We do. Tony does.
Okay.
Well, I know, I don't share the slides, but I do put a video up every week
On
on
YouTube.
On
just
YouTube.
YouTube? Open it up. Or
Yeah.
send the link.
Could we share the
Yeah.
Or
slides?
you on
You
YouTube?
can do.
You could please send, if you want, yes, but they're all on YouTube, all the videos. The easiest way to find them is from the newsletter I send out on Tuesdays. It has a link always to the previous week's video, plus a link to our channel, so you can find what you want that way, video-wise. But I think, Alan, you meant the actual slides. And yes, I can share the slides. If you write to the 5 Bells Computer Club, 5bells.computerclub@gmail.com, the email address that I send the newsletters from, then, and tell me that you would like a copy of the slides, I will send them out to you.
And hopefully you won't need to, because in a few minutes' time we're going to come around and make you do this stuff. So you should have that all set up when you're going at the end of this. So that's the next step really. So that was my plan actually, was really just to show you how to turn this on and then do that. Is that what you want to do? Or would you rather just learn about it today and do it another time?
We'd like to do the first option.
To actually turn it on and use it. Perfect. Okay. Okay, everyone. I know we didn't get to everyone, so apologies for that. But I think quite a few of you have already had your cloud service enabled and are already backing up your pictures. Some of you have now enabled cloud service. So hopefully at least you've sort of seen, what your phone can do, and how useful clouds can be. So we've basically looked at how you turn on the cloud service on an iPhone or an Android. Very, very similar. The next thing is, once you've got your photos in the cloud, what can you do with them? And Alan alluded to that at the beginning there, what you can do once you're in the cloud. The main things you can do is that you can look at them. You can look at them, and you actually, when you look at them on your phone using the Photos app, it's not really obvious where they are. You can't really tell the difference whether they're on the phone or in the iCloud. The photo looks the same, it comes up the same. If it's not on your phone and it's only in the cloud, then it might take a while before that photo shows up. So you might select a picture and it might take a while before the picture appears on your screen because it has to go get it from the cloud. But anyway, you can retrieve your pictures. We talked earlier about sharing photos. You can send photos by WhatsApp, as Alan said. It sends a reduced version of the original photo. You can send them by email, or you can use the cloud to share them. We'll talk about that. You can go onto your PC. If you have a PC and you log into the cloud from there, you can download them onto your PC. So you've got a couple of choices there. The other way, I kind of briefly mentioned it, which I quite like doing, is that you can share the photos in the cloud with friends by sending them a link to that picture. So you don't need to send them the picture at all. You can just say, well, my picture's already in the cloud. If you want to look at my photo album from my holiday, here's a link to it, and they can see just those photos. It's still very secure and private. They won't be able to see anything else. So that's quite nice. And you can delete photos. So you might, I take lots of photos. Most of them are rubbish. And you can delete the ones that aren't very good. And when you delete them on your phone, it will delete them in the cloud as well. Okay. Again, you can choose whether there are options around what you can do. You can actually delete the photos on your phone and just keep them in the cloud. Does anyone do that? Do you do that, Tony? No, I don't know many people who do that, but you can do that. Alan probably does that. Do you do that? Delete them on your phone and keep them in the cloud?
The answer is yes. I do, because often you take a lot on your phone and you don't need them all, but you can put them into the cloud because you've got virtually unlimited storage. How many of you here are really keen photographers? Because the app that I use a lot is called SmugMug. SmugMug, S-M-U-G-M-U-G. It's not the nicest name. It's a California-based company, and the reason that I signed up for it years ago was that it allowed you to download full-size images without limit of your photos and videos as well. Whereas most of the other services at the beginning shrunk them so that you never got the full size. And there are other tools that it comes so that you can create albums. As Salim said earlier, what's really nice if you want to share photos with someone, you don't want to give them access to your whole phone, but you want them to see a particular album, and SmugMug allows you to send a link just to that, and then they can see it. Also, they haven't got the power to download unless you give it to them. So you can restrict whether they can see, whether they can download. It's a very good service, but you have to pay for it. I pay an annual charge. And I can show it afterwards if there's time.
Yeah. I think that's probably covered cloud, most of what you're likely to do with cloud on your phone. Backing up your phone and saving pictures. There's a little bit more detail, and again, you probably won't do that, we can do this on a Tuesday. You can go through and you can go into your Photos app on your phone and choose some of the options, what you want to do in terms of selecting which photos you want to keep and so on. And similarly, on an Android phone, the same thing, you go into your Photos app and you can choose what you want to keep. You can also back up folders. The thing about the cloud, we talked earlier, it's just Apple call it iCloud, Google call it Drive. It doesn't just store photos. The Photos app shows you your photos that are stored in the cloud. When you go into iCloud or Drive, you'll notice there are other things that are stored there as well, like your text and messages and your folders and so on. So you can choose what you store there.
Okay, and I just wanted to make a brief addendum about if you're sending videos. Probably the only time I want to send a video is like for a 60th or 70th birthday when friends say, can you make a little video greeting and send it to someone? But you may often find that a video won't send because it's too big. Video files really are huge. There's 24 pictures for every second of film.
And WhatsApp will reduce them, but sometimes you might find the videos are even too big for WhatsApp. So there's a great piece of software called WeTransfer, and if you want to use if you want to send a video to someone, WeTransfer will do it for you. You know, you can't send it as an attachment to email, it's too big. So you upload your video to WeTransfer, then you put in your email address, and the video gets sent to the person you want to send it to. That's all.
Perfect. Okay, I think what we'll do, Julian, we'll cover the question, which is how do you send a link to someone to look at the photos in your cloud folder later on, and Alan can connect his phone to the projector and show how to do that. I'll move on to the next topic for today, which is about using FindMyPhone. So nothing to do with photographs now. This is another topic that was requested for today. So just quickly cover that, and I think we're done, except for any more questions that come up. So this is a very quick run through. So who's heard of FindMyPhone? Yeah. Anyone used it?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Hopefully not in anger. I know a few of you have had lost phones. So really this is about keeping your phone safe and then using FindMyPhone. And again, it's slightly different on Apple phones and Google phones, but the concepts are pretty much the same. So keeping your phone safe, firstly, you've got to think about keeping it safe, right? It's physically safe. When you're out and about, don't just walk around with it. London, unfortunately, has a lot of people who are happy to snatch your phones. I keep my phone in my pocket if I'm out and about. I try not to carry around. On mine, I've got a little lanyard thing which I can put around my wrist so it doesn't fall, which actually is also great for photography. Alan made a point last week when he was talking about taking photographs that you need to hold your phone securely in a stable way. And I'll tell you what I have on my phone, which I really like, is a lanyard. So I can put my wrist through that. If I'm taking photographs, I can hold my phone very secure. That's nice and secure on my wrist. And also, if I drop it, it doesn't go anywhere. If I'm leaning over a railing, taking pictures of the sea, I'm always worried about losing my phone in the ocean. That stops that, so I quite like that. But it also means it's difficult for someone to snatch your phone, right? So think about getting a lanyard or keep your phone secure. So that's the first thing. And
actually a word of warning for East Finchley, because apparently there are quite a few phones that have been stolen outside the tube station, where people are looking for bus times, and people come by on scooters and just, these electric scooters, and snatch them out of your hand.
Yeah, they're using bicycles as well.
Yes.
Electric bicycle.
Yes, that are very fast. So Salim's absolutely right. Keep it secure, hold it tight, and don't do it near the street, the pavement.
Yeah, going to a shop, if you're looking for something, or you need to make a phone call, call a friend, maybe going to a shop to make the call rather than out on the street. Make sure you have a screen lock set on your phone. So when the phone is idle, it's locked. So if someone does access your phone or pick up your phone, they just can't get into it and read your messages or try and log in. And you should either use a PIN code, a fingerprint, or Face ID, something secure that only you know can let you into the phone. For your account, we've talked about this before at these sessions and also at the Tuesday sessions, you should have two-factor authentication. So when you don't just use your email and a password, when you have two-factor authentication, you're asked to enter, they send you a verification code via text usually. And you enter
text or email?
Or text or email.
What, every time you open it?
No, every time you make a payment, for example, you buy something on the web, you give your credit card company then sends a text or a message to you.
Secure way. So
I use two Gmail accounts for that purpose, so I give my other Gmail account as the backup.
Yeah. So just think about how you're going to keep your phone safe. And again, that's something we've done on Tuesday sessions. People come in, we can look at your account and check your security and safety on that account. Have you got a recovery mechanism? Have you got two-factor authentication turned on? So that's something that everyone should have. But even if you have that, if you lose your phone or it's taken from you, what do? You have to think about, can you recover it? You may just left it inadvertently at a restaurant, so someone might put it behind the counter. If you can go find where it is, you can get it back. Or some nasty person's taken it and run off with you, and not ever going to see it again. So this is where Find My Phone comes in. So I'm going to call it FMyP, just because you've got the typing Find My Phone every time. But the process is the same on both phones. It's slightly different just because of the settings. You turn on Find My Phone. Again, we're going to go through and do this now. So at the end of today, everyone will have Find My Phone turned on. And I've got some rules there for iPhone, and I've got some rules here for Android. So again, you can take pictures of this, of the appropriate one, or we'll share it with you. But again, I strongly recommend that everyone turns this feature on today at this session. So again, happy to go around, and we'll do that with your phones right now.
Is there a button to find my phone?
Yes,
to
there is.
press? Oh.
There is. It's in the settings. So
Okay.
so we can go through this now. We can do.
Yeah.
I've got an Android phone, so I'm going to go through the Android process first. So you go to the settings app on your phone.
Yeah.
It's different if you've got Samsung, just to be awkward. It's just one of the weird things. Samsung doing slightly differently. We'll do the Samsung ones next. Go to Security and Privacy. So scroll down until you get to Security and Privacy. It might be under Google if you've got an older phone. And you'll find an option called Device Finders on new phones. They've changed the name for some bizarre reason. Or it will be called Find My Device.
Lost device protection.
Not device protection, is it?
This phone will not to be found and lost.
Lost device protection. Yes.
Yeah,
that's it,
then,
yeah.
then that gives you Find
Yes.
My Mobile.
It's, I don't have it.
Yours is Samsung, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so we will look at Samsung in a minute. It's slightly different.
So mine is already done, isn't it?
Yours is already done. Yeah.
That's all right.
Okay.
It's
Can't find it on there.
privacy.
Security and privacy.
No.
Oh, you're on Samsung. So those who are on Samsung, we'll do those in a minute. It's slightly different on Samsung. Right, if you've got a non-Samsung Android device, go to find Device Finders or Find My Device. If you found that, just make sure you turn that on. Okay, everyone, have you all got Find My Phone turned on now?
Yes. Got Samsung, but you're going to go for Samsung.
Let's have a look. So, I think with the mix of phones we've got in the room, we've got half of them are roughly iPhones, half are Google, and some of that Google is Samsung. So just to make life fun, everyone, all these phones do this thing slightly differently, but essentially once you've turned this on, your phone can be tracked. That's essentially what you're allowing your phone to be. You're turning on the feature that allows the phone to be tracked. So we've all done that now, I think. So you've got to log in. But once you've got that turned on, the phone knows where it is. It has a location service. It gets that location from the GPS satellites. Yeah. So the phone knows where it is. If it's lost, you can find your phone. It will tell you where it is.
But how do I find my phone?
So that's the next thing. How do you now use that?
So just to say that once you've got a phone, which is a smartphone, you are available to the security services. They know if they want to exactly where you are, how long you spent there, and what you've been doing. And there are even apps that they can hear your speech, read your emails. The world is a goldfish bowl. So even if you don't turn on Find My iPhone, somebody else, if they're interested in you, can find it.
The only government department can do that, I suppose.
Sorry?
Yeah.
It's only governments, yes.
Yeah, it's very hard for ordinary individuals.
It's not for, yes.
And the police.
Also, when
If we
the
want to
phone is
find
off-
our iPhone, we need to switch it on.
Sorry, if the phone is off, they can still have
Yep.
all the information.
Yes. Yeah. So the tracking
it's
works.
It's quite scary.
Yeah.
Everything that you,
Why?
I mean, we should have said right at the beginning that once you are using the cloud, everything that you do can be seen by the security services. So they can, not on WhatsApp, because that's encrypted,
Yeah.
but just about everything else. They can read your emails, your text, listen to your calls.
So if we don't put things on the drive, they can't?
Not necessarily.
I'm sure they still can.
Not necessarily. I think you've got to accept the fact that once you're in a digital world, everything we do is accessible to someone
For
else.
dumb phones.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. You carrier pigeons, or that's probably the easiest way to be secret. So So now you've turned this thing on, and your phone is lost. So now, how do you go about finding it? So the easiest way is to go onto another device and use the web service that both Apple and Google have to find your phone. Now you will need to know your Apple account ID and
your
password.
Apple ID and password.
And for Google, you need to know your Google address and password. And for those who've got lots of Gmail addresses, make sure you're using the right one for your Google account, because that's the one you need to have. So for iPhone, you can use someone else's phone. So
Excuse me.
if you've got an iPhone, you can use someone else's iPhone Find app to find your phone. You just log in with your Apple ID into that app, and it will show you where your phone is. Or you can just go to this address. You can use someone's Google phone, an Android phone, and type that into their browser, iCloud.com/find, into any browser on a PC or any phone, and again log in with your Apple account, and you can then track your device.
Apple or Google?
Yeah, and any device where you can access the internet, and you can type in this address, which is done in red, just to sit here, and then you can track your device. As long as you know your account ID for Apple, you can use the Apple iCloud, because that's where this once you've got the Find turned on, it's sending its location. Guess where? To the iCloud.
Will you give me a map?
Yep, I'll give you a map. It will show you where it is. Yeah. So you'll be able to see where it is. You can even make it ring. You make a loud noise. If you lost it at home, forgotten it, we've lost it on. We've ended up with phones underneath a pile of coats, and you can't find the blooming thing. You just make it ring very loud from the app, and then you can try and hunt it down.
We've actually just done that at the back, and it overrides your settings. So even though your phone is on silent, you can play a sound, just be patient, and it will slowly get louder and louder. It goes bing, 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 and you can find it. Very useful, where you've forgotten where you put your phone. And that happens to all of us.
Yeah, exactly. So, so you can use that app to find the phone. Similar thing, and that's just the point just made. Even if your phone is offline, you'll see its last location. Play sound will make the phone make a noise. Directions will show you where it is on a map. So all of those features that Find My Phone has, you can access via that website, as long as you know your Apple account and ID.
Or Samsung.
And now same with Android. So Android, go to android.com/find, very, very similar address. From any device, any browser, sign in with your Google account. This is why it's so important to know your Google account and your password. And then you'll be able to see your phone's position on the map. Again, if it's nearby, you can play sound and you can try and listen for it. You can make it ring for up to 5 minutes, even if it's set to silent, as Alan just said there. So this Find app is quite smart. It knows if someone's stolen your phone, put it on silent and turned it off, you'll still be able to make it make a noise.
So is that the same for password for Google email?
Yeah, your Google account is it's the email that your phone account is linked to.
Okay.
So you might have multiple email addresses, but it's the phone that it's the phone.
Is it Gmail?
No, it could be anything. No, it could be anything. Usually it's a Gmail, but it's the account your phone has as its primary account.
We spoke earlier about security and keeping your phone with you, particularly outside tube stations. Unfortunately, the police do virtually nothing because there are so many thefts. But there was a lady who used Find My Phone, this device. She saw that it was at Heathrow. She went along. She insisted that the police came. They found a container with hundreds of phones, including hers, in, and they stopped it from being sent to China. So it's actually a very, very useful device. If she'd missed the flight, she could then see the phone in transit and landing in China. I mean, it's quite scary, but it's a very useful device. The other thing is, if you've got secure data on your iPhone and you don't want it to fall into the hands of thieves, like your bank account and passwords, you can wipe your phone from this, so you can clear all of the data so that whoever has stolen the phone cannot access it. And then you could purchase a new one and restore it from the cloud. But as Salim has said, it's absolutely essential that you know your Apple ID and password. Without that, you can't do anything. But with that, because you've backed up your phone, you can restore it and you can prevent whoever has stolen the phone from accessing your data.
But if you delete it, but you say it's still in the cloud,
Mm-hmm.
then won't it be available to...
No, it deletes
restore?
it from that device.
From the phone.
Right, but
So
I mean,
you
whoever's got your
delete it-
device can't
No,
then-
because once
Well,
you delete
remember
the
your
phone, it's not
two-factor,
logged.
sorry,
Sorry, go on.
your two-factor authentication.
Oh, right,
You want to prevent people from opening it, but what they often do, thieves, is try to steal your phone while you are using it, and then change the settings so they can access it, if you haven't got two-factor authentication, and then change the password so you can't access it. So the answer is two-factor authentication, and then if it is stolen, you wipe the device, not the cloud, and then you can restore from the cloud if you buy a new one.
Thank you.
But how do you do the device?
How do you want it done?
Right, the answer is if you've got, I'll let Salim tell you about.
So there's an option. When you log into that Finder
Yes.
app, one of the options is lock my device. So in case they manage to, as Alan says, they run off with it while the phone was unlocked, you can remotely lock it. And if you think you can't get it back, you can remotely erase it and then wipe the device.
So it says lost iPhone, lost mode. So when you go in, you can do that, and then you can later, it's called erase this device. That wipes everything on the device
How do you put it back?
from the cloud. So that's why you need to know your Apple ID and password, or your Google ID and password, and then you have to buy a new device, and then you restore from the cloud to your phone, and it will do everything except your WhatsApps.
So you have to buy a new device. You can't re-upload it.
It's gone to China. What are you doing?
You can take a plane. Heathrow.
No. Yes, you need to buy a new device, or a second-hand device.
And the your Google account, I've got a few accounts with different.
You need to know your email address and your password for each account.
Yeah, I know them, but I've got 3 different logins. So would they give me ask me for a specific account?
They'll ask you for the one that your phone is linked to. The phone is only linked to one of those accounts.
Oh yeah, you're right. I know.
If you actually can't remember because it was when it was set up, what your the account was and the login, is it possible to go into your phone and find that out or not?
You can change your
Yeah.
password.
Yeah, you can change it.
Yes, that's a really good question actually. What if you can't remember your password? So can you find your password from your phone? No, you can't.
Oh, right.
But you can, if you're the owner of the phone, you still have the physical phone with you. You can change the password and then keep a record of that somewhere secure so you keep access to it.
Find it on the PC or laptop.
I think a little notebook. I mean,
Yeah.
go analog. Have a little notebook that you keep locked up at home, and you put your passwords in there.
Yeah. Can
Go in
I
on
just
my
say-
PC.
a brief anecdote? I once had my phone stolen, and I got somebody to ring the phone, and eventually somebody answered and said, yeah, I've got this phone, but I'm, I don't know, 30 miles away or something. So they said they'll hand it in. They didn't explain why they had the phone, but they said they'll hand it in at the railway station. So I had to travel to that railway station, but I got I physically got the phone back by actually ringing it, and I know that's not going to happen every time, but it's worth trying.
Yeah,
That's
very nice.
Did you all hear that? That's a really nice story that by phoning the phone, Frank was able to relocate it. I once lost a phone on a beach in Portugal and phoned the phone, and it was answered by the person who passed it to a coast guard who had a car on the beach. They were driving up and down, and we met, and I got the phone back. So yes, there are good people around who find lost phones. Yes, my son was studying in New York, and he left his phone in the back of a taxi coming to visit us. He phoned it, and the person said, "I'm out now." Just the next passenger in the cab answered the phone, told my son which hotel he was staying at, and he went and fetched it from that hotel. So yes, they are good.
Because everybody knows what it's like to lose a phone, what it means to you.
Yeah. I think the good people outnumber the bad guys, basically, in the world. You know, if you're unlucky, if you have your phone snatched, that's by someone who's, got malicious intent. If you lose your phone, chances are someone, if they come across it, would be happy to give it back to you if they can make contact with you. So always worth phoning your phone, as Frank said. If someone picks it up and you contact them, they can
There
try.
are good people about it.
Yeah, there's established contact. That's really about it for this section. That's really just wanted to make sure that by the end of today, you've got all these things set up.
Sorry, okay. I've got a couple of things that I think are worth showing. Right, ladies and gentlemen,
I've got, but I don't have.
I just want to show you something which is to do with editing. So last week's session, and you've got to be really, really careful, because although we can take photos which are realistic, general, factual events of what happens, AI can do very strange things to photos. And I discovered this almost by accident, and found in Gemini, well, there were two. One I found on holiday, and this one came up after the session last week, and what it said is, make almost a studio from your photos, and you will recognize two of you with fingers crossed, and Tony sitting there, and AI created this image using two photos on my phone. It is totally artificial. It doesn't exist, and yet Gemini produced it.
But did it ask you, did you want to do it?
That's
not on the internet anywhere.
That's not on the internet,
No,
it's just
no,
on
I
my
just
phone.
wanted to make sure on
It's
that.
just on my phone.
Okay, thank you.
But I've discovered this one, which is how to make an alien. So this is a picture of me, just by myself, and it said, here's your photo with a realistic alien making the peace sign. Now, the alien doesn't exist, obviously, but what AI did is it said, give me a picture of you, and I will put in the background an alien making a peace sign. So you've got to, and this, of course, you can save as a photo, you can send it to people, but it's not a real photo in the sense of it's what you've taken. It is entirely constructed by AI. So these days, you can't necessarily believe what you see. So let me just see what the other one was. So this is called Gemini.
Sorry, how did you get this alien?
Okay. So Gemini came up. Gemini is one of the AI tools, and it said, ask me to upload an image of myself, then add a realistic looking alien doing a peace sign to my photo. I tapped on that, and this is what it produced. So that was the photo of me, and that was the photo with the alien.
Came up
Yeah, just like
as a
that.
suggestion.
It's scary, isn't it?
You didn't ask them to do it.
But you had to tap that.
Sorry?
But you had to send you the photo yourself.
Yes, I had to use my photo. So I started with the computer club photo, which was of us holding fingers crossed to say thank you to the National Lottery for funding us. And what it said is, here is a 1/7 scale commercialized figurine of the characters in the picture, rendered in a realistic style within a real environment. The figurine is placed on a computer desk featuring a round transparent acrylic base with no text. The computer screen displays a 3D modeling process of this figure, and next to it is a high quality collectible figure packaging box with 2D flat illustrations. And that is what it produced. So I'm absolutely amazing. So you've got to be really careful when people send you photos, and you can download this as a photo. It might not really be a photo.
Yes, I've just sent you something. I don't know if it's come through on your WhatsApp yet.
On WhatsApp, okay, so let's go to WhatsApp. And here is Tony.
I've never been to India.
Right.
It changed my face somewhat, but...
And your dress as well.
Yeah.
So again,
Yeah.
I mean, it's fascinating what AI can do. But
to go to India.
what I wanted to show you, so really, I mean, that was just an aside. If you've got Google Photos, so this is what it looks like. How do you find the photo that you want? And the answer is you've got recent days, Sunday, Friday, you've got your pinned collections, you can search by map. So for example, I went to Durham and I met a very interesting fella and took pictures with him. Do any of you recognize him? So I went to a tour of Durham University and the cathedral, and I said, how could you have a cathedral without a bishop? Because the bishop came after the cathedral, and I thought a cathedral was something that had a bishop in residence. And this gentleman came and said, don't confuse her, I'll tell you afterwards. And he told me afterwards, and I looked skeptical, and he said, trust me, I'm a bishop. And I said, who are you? And his name was Cottrell, and he was the Bishop of Chelmsford. Now, he has been promoted to be the Bishop of York. So he's currently the Bishop of York. That was in Seaham, and there I took a little photo, which it's a fountain outside a very nice hotel. So one of the things that I use is places. So if you know where you've been, remember what Salim said is every picture has got a geolocation. When
If you've
take
got your location switched
Enabled.
on, not everybody leaves their location. Yeah, you have to have your...
Geolocation turned on.
So if you switch on geolocation, then Apple knows where you took the photo, and you could find it by going in to places. Now, the other one that I'd like to show you, just briefly before we end, is photography, and I use SmugMug. Now, this one you do have to pay for, but what I find really great, if we look at holidays, and I could do Lake Como and Milan, so that's flying in over the Alps. What it enables you to do is to save all of your photos in an album that you can then share. And once you've done that, they are really easy to find. So if you're looking for holiday photos, you go into holidays. If you're looking for wedding photos, you go into weddings. And you can cluster them all. and these are all full-size images, and that is the ferry boat that crosses Lake Como. The weather wasn't the greatest that day, but it brightened up when we reached Verena. And you've got, you know, your full-scale photos available to see there, which is really nice. So it is quite pricey. I don't know the price offhand. I just pay once a year. You have to pay in US dollars because it's based in California. But it is a really interesting app if you want to keep lots and lots of photos, not on your phone at all. So these are our holidays. Yeah, these are my holidays. We have lots of holidays.
That's just this year.
Yeah. So this was a family wedding we went to in Herzliya. It will take a little bit of time to download, and that is the beach looking from our hotel and the Mediterranean Sea. So you've got all of the photos that you want to keep. That's the hotel we stayed in.
Actually, while you're there, Alan, you might show, so if you select a picture from iCloud, you show how you can share, and you can share a link rather than share the photo. That was one of the questions I think Julian was asking. How do you share a link? So, I think you can probably do it from here as well, but in certainly in photos, if you just pick any
You
picture.
certainly can. So what you do is you take your photo, so that's me wearing my alien hat, and you push that. So,
What did you push?
okay, so it's the top square with a little arrow,
Yes.
and that is the share button, and then you could share it to a WhatsApp, or a message, or a text, or if somebody has an iPhone, AirDrop, and that sends a full image, iPhone to iPhone.
And also, you've got a copy link.
Copy link right at the bottom. That was
Yeah, you can copy the link, and then you can send the link.
yeah.
So copy link.
So if you send them a link, you can access it when you want.
Correct.
Yeah.
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 So, and it's the same in Google Drive. So if you see, Google Photos, sorry, go to Photos, select a picture. The share icon is slightly different in Google. It's a sort of triangle arrowhead pointing to the left. Click on that, and again you'll get the options of sharing by WhatsApp, email, and so on. And there'll be share by link, or copy a link. You can copy that link, and you can send that link by WhatsApp or by email or whatever, and they'll be able to go get the picture from your cloud. Which is quite nice.
I think that's it.
Thank you very much. So,